Don't you see this? No hat. See this, camera, Mindy?
Hello, Alphinius.
Good morning, my friend. It is good to see you. It's marvelous to see you all this morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We have a lot of things to do today. We're going to talk about the next Contributors Guild thing, yes, which we are getting ready to do that. I know I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, but we had to pull some things together. We have a wonderful couple of rewards I think we're going to put out for that. We have actually 2 giveaways because Camera Mendy came up with a giveaway at the same time that I came up with a giveaway. So we get to give away 2 things today instead of 1, so that is marvelous. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, Camera Mendy, what is going on? There she goes again. Yes, there's what are we, oh, what is going, is there some, what is the problem? Oh God, there she goes again. Yes. What is the problem?
It's called stealth. I rolled a nat 1 on stealth.
A 1, yes.
Yes.
Very, very clear. Very, very clear. Well, anyway, it is marvelous to see you all. It's good to be back in the studio. We had a wonderful time at SuperCon, and Joe and Jess and all of these wonderful other folks who are sort of their friends and associated with the average Joe and all that kind of stuff. We had just a wonderful time with you all, and it was magnificent, and we were treated so well. And it was surprisingly...
Oh, shoot.
What's wrong now?
I forgot the things you're supposed to show.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You just keep talking.
There she goes again. Continue on, Camera Mendy. I'm just going to vamp for time. Anyway, we had a great time at SuperCon. It was wonderful. And a couple of other things have happened in the interim this past week. I think I've mentioned to you that we are collaborating with Luke Gygax on this marvelous Gyzengox adventure, which is going to come to fruition here before we go to GaryCon. And, oh yes, Joe, Jess, thank you. Marvelous gifts. These are marvelous. They're going to be in the studio here forever, the little study that I have. They're not just looking like books, though. Look at this. Ha-ha! They open up and have cool things on the inside where you can put stuff. Yes. I plan to use it for some of my pipe weed. Yes, that's what I plan to use it for. Wasn't it Adam Sandler who said you could put your weed in there? Is that what he said?
What?
Yes, I believe that was correct.
What are you
all right,
talking
all of
about?
you out there who can affirm this in the chat with your snarky comments. Did not Adam Sandler say you could put your weed in there?
I'm going to say hi. Hi.
There she is. Yes, in her hat.
I know you've seen me stealthing across the
Yes,
camera a
stealthing
few
across.
times.
I'm sweating, camera.
Alphinius got in the studio at 10:01 this morning.
Yes, here's the 10:01. I even got scotch in my glass before we got started. Which
Oh,
is
really?
magnificent.
Oh, Thank you all so much for joining us. I see we actually have a bunch of first-time chatters.
Hello,
in here.
first-time chatters.
So I
yes,
don't know
you have
if
a chance to win something today.
Yes,
so hang about.
2 things. Actually, I'll show. Let's actually go ahead and launch into social media in just a second here.
Well, let me make sure I tell everybody what we're doing so that all the people know. Okay, so we're back to the book club today, all right? We were going to have Bernardo and Ben on today, but we're going to move that to another time because Ben and Giza wanted to go on a marvelous vacation, and they needed a little rest, and so they did so. And then we had a little issue with Bernardo's internet, which we're trying to figure out. So between those two, we decided let's not do that today, but we're going to move them out. We also are we had to move out Egg Embry because of our situation going to SuperCon. So we're excited that they are still coming very, very soon. But anyway, I was speaking about Luke Gygax. So I spoke to Luke. We made an agreement. We got a good little agreement between us, and we're going to make this marvelous dungeon that is in East Verdestia, right against the Mithril Mountains, literally in Vanzentia at the borders, called Gyzengox. And it's going to be a true tribute to a lot of things Gary. And it's going to have a lot of Easter eggs in there, a lot of fun things, the artworks and all that kind of stuff that'll harken back to other things. And he's really excited about it, and so am I. And we're going to do the same thing we did before with GenzaCon. We're going to offer it at GaryCon, and then for those who can't go, we'll have it for about a month afterwards. And then the limited edition version will be gone, and then it will only be the version that is not the limited edition for sale going forward. Oh, there they are. There's Joe and Jess. Hello, my friends. I hope you are watching. We had a marvelous time. Thank you. It was magnificent. It was really, really fun. And I was there with just Ms. Goo, right? So I honestly believe, we did very, very well in sales, unexpectedly well, honestly. And I honestly believe that we could have done better, but there was only one of me to sell with folks and talk to them about our marvelous products and all those kinds of things. If we'd had a second person, we could have done that. Anyway, Goo Morning Zyathé, for all of you new people, this is where we do social media, talk about all things gooey. We speak about our Contributors Guild stuff, so where you can actually join a contributor, the Contributors Guild, and submit things that we publish in our materials. We have games and giveaways and all kinds of stuff like that. We do our book club now, which is our reading thing. And if everything works out, I'm going to bring back the little adventure we were doing, the Nether Dark. So I'm working on that as well. But it took me about 4 hours every week, and it was destroying me with our day jobs and all of that stuff. So I'm trying to bring that back as well. But we talk about lots of fun stuff, and it's a good morning, and you are most welcome to snark away in the chat. And I hope that one of the new people wins something, and I hope it's not, who's the one who wins everything all the time? Is that Randy?
We have a few people who win frequently.
Consistent winners.
But I swear it's through Moobot. I do not control it in any way, shape, or form.
I don't even know what Moobot is. I'm going to dab, Mandy.
Yeah, go ahead and dab. Okay,
it's a little hot in here today.
But let's go ahead and go into social media, because I have a birthday party I have to get to.
For a little kid, yes, a little 5-year-old kid.
Yes, so we're
today.
going to try and end on time today.
All right, here we go.
This is our goals. Okay, well, first off, we're going to show, oh, I keep going on the wrong one. This is one of the prizes that we're giving away today.
So this was Star's idea, right, Cameron?
Yes, it was the idea was a binder cover, a signed binder cover for our last contributors. Now, we had a very small contributing round last time because we had just basically reopened one of our old submissions. So only about 10 people, I think, are getting these for the contributors.
I think it's like 20, 22. That's I signed like 30 of them.
I know, because I printed 40 of them, knowing how much people would want them. You see, I thought I used my thinker. I used my thinker. Yes, indeed.
You know I have writer's cramp right now.
I know. So I printed 40 of these covers because I thought this is a great prize that we could give away over the course of whenever we don't have a prize ready for Goo Morning Zyathé.
Well, and the marvelous thing about it is it's not just signed by me, right? It's signed by you. It's signed by all the Goo crew up there, right? Lots of folks signed that thing. Yes, it's marvelous.
Yeah, everyone that we had at the office signed it. And if more people come, we'll have more people sign it. So maybe by the end of, if you went on at the end of the, well, I was going to say the end of the year, but that's like 2 months from now.
So this is magnificent because the images on there are various places in Zyathé.
Yes.
And it is it's really, really pretty. It's a nice little design. So
and this was really popular. So I'm thinking we like do this again with like a Gloomport, version or a Darkenhaven version.
Well, I'm working on something. It's a secret project that is no longer going to be secret because I'm going to unsecret it right now, which is I'm working on a Game Master screen. So this is in my mind. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of months.
There's a whole Facebook chat about things what people want to see on a Game Master screen. So,
yes, indeed.
Okay, so that's one of our prizes. And then the other prize we're going to give away today is a print of this awesome piece of art.
So this is called The Adventurers, yes? And there is one of our marvelous wood elves in there. There's one of the deeping dwarves, yes? A barbarian. She is in the front ready to slay the evil creatures that are before her. A little softling, yes, she is magnificent. And a wizard, yes, of great power. Yes, and it is a wonderful image done by our marvelous Benjo. And I'm looking at it right now on the screen, cameraman. It is really, really good.
It is really good.
I hope people love it. I hope you love it, friends, because it is really, really wonderful. So, yeah, we're going to give one of those away today, too. So that'll be fun. Harry
was like, no one has a hat in that picture, but I think the elf has.
The elf kind of has a hat.
Would we call that a hat?
Yes, it's helmet.
A helmet.
Yes.
A helmet hat.
Yes.
They're basically the
Lord
same
Helmet.
thing.
Yes, Lord Helmet.
Okay. So
keep firing. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Okay, I'm curious about what's going on with this project. Oops, I keep doing the wrong little thing. Okay, I'm curious.
So this is John.
Okay.
We met John at SuperCon.
Okay.
And John was literally across from us, and we had wonderful neighbors. It was really fun to be with them all. And John really liked our stuff, and we struck up a little chat in a wonderful sort of accord. And I love this stuff, cameraman. You know.
What is this stuff? Is it like wood?
He's a woodworker. Magnificent. I mean, just beautiful dice towers and rolling trays and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, he came over. He said, I want to show you something. And I said, yes. And I looked at it because he had looked at our maps. And he showed me this wood map of, I think it was Skyrim. If you're watching, John, if it was Skyrim, I think it was Skyrim. And it had all the topography, you know, and all of that stuff going on. And so I gave him a little money. And said, why don't you make one of these for me? Yes, because I want to put it up in our little studio. And lo and behold, he is beginning the process. Now, this is, I believe, just a computer-generated thing.
Oh, so this hasn't actually been...
this is not the actual wood yet at this
Okay.
point. So I think first, I think, again, if John's in the chat, I don't know if he is or not, but I'll tell him to watch this and he can confirm or deny. But it's really, I mean, you look at it, you know, you can just see the Duunsara Sea down there, right? You see the Wormspire Mountains that come down the middle of the, I mean, it's just wonderful. You know, we haven't got the Strenia in there yet, but all the rest of the continents are placed. And I'm really looking forward to having this in the house.
I just throw this out there to you. Like, maybe if we like ours, maybe we put it for sale.
So, no, this is the discussion, right?
Yes.
You were in the meeting yesterday. So, I know
I was only in like the last half of the meeting. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, you're talking about the community store.
Yeah, so we are working on our totally new revamped website, which I want to give you a little tour of because it's so pretty. I think you would love it, okay? And maybe we'll bring Stephen on in a week or two and let him be a part of that, because Stephen's sort of leading the charge on it. It's really wonderful. It's based on almost more computer game stuff, and it's got tons of artwork and beautiful lore. And if our goal works out well, we're going to put on this community store where people can make stuff like this with our logoed merchandise and those kinds of things. And we'll take a little piece of it, but we're not going to take no 50%. We're not going to do that kind of thing. We'll take a little piece of it to help Gooey Cube, but we want to give a lot of it to the creators. So that's our goal, to make that happen. And perhaps John would be interested in putting, you know, this marvelous piece of art up in the store. It is not inexpensive, but it is worth every penny, in my opinion. You know, so I'm very excited to do it. But anyway, John also bought a lot of our stuff and is very excited to explore Zyathé, join the Gooey Den, and so we're excited to see his progress as he posts it within the Gooey Den for others to see.
Sorry.
Cameron?
No, I appreciate this comment from Thomas. I need to send you a soft type keyboard because they can hear me when I type a comment.
Oh, yeah. I can hear it.
I know. I'm very sorry. I'm working on it.
Hold on.
But hey, you know what? While we're here, I want to show something.
I must dab again, Cameron.
I'll dab while I show this. Okay, listen. We are getting very close to having a complete studio. So last week you saw that we had like Carrie and Alexander and AJ on, and this wall was not complete, but our contractor came in this week and put up the wall, and we are slowly but surely getting the entire studio put together so we can run streams out of here. Not just Goo Morning Zyathé, but all sorts of other kinds of streams.
It's really coming together nicely, and this is where we can actually run games and the game master stuff. And
yes.
Put me on mute for a second, camera Mindy.
Okay, hold on.
Because I have to blow my shit.
So yeah, anyways, I am incredibly excited for, here, I'll go back over to me. I'm really excited for to stop. Are you happy with yourself now?
Yeah, that was even.
Okay, anyway.
Totally juvenile,
I'm
which is
you
very
back
appropriate for this show.
I am putting you. Yeah, this is why it's better than
juvenile.
This is why it's better than Saturday morning cartoons.
Way better because it is kind of juvenile. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, what were you saying? Keep going.
I'm just excited about the studio getting together, and we'll get a soft type keyboard, and we will get some other things. It'll be awesome. So
this is the beginning of this subscription thing that we're doing. And we're going to send you out a survey. We want to get more information from you all besides the poll that we did in the Gooey Den. So we're pretty excited about it. We think there's going to be a player's package and there's going to be a game master's package, and they're going to interrelate. We think we're working on pricing now to make sure it's not going to blow us out of the water, but we think every package is going to include a number of cards that are either magic item, special item for the game master, or interesting mundane items for the player. And there'll also be something like this. So this is Faye's house. It's a place that I've dreamt about for a long time. And Faye is a very interesting personage, and this is an interesting place to go in the Wy'rd forest. And so we are going to, every month, provide an interesting location, a little mini adventure along with it for the game master, rumors and lore and other things about that location for the players, also some other lore, and then a lot of people want the adventurers new, so we're working on that. But we're going to send out some things to do that. If Harry agrees and we can figure out it doesn't cost us too much money and can work within the scope of a reasonable subscription model, we're going to talk to Dan and we're going to talk to Matthew, And between the three of us, if we can make it work, maybe every quarter we'll give a figure, a miniature, one of Harry's minis to everyone. And Mandy's waving at me real quick.
So. Oh, I was just saying, keep going.
Am I not doing fast enough? Am I going too slow, Miss Birthday Party?
we have so many announcements to make today.
Excited about
but we got to do some more research before we...
Smash Case wants to make maps.
Yes.
He's already started on some, so you'll get a map and a keyed encounter and a monster. And so we really think it's going to be a wonderful value, and it will help us, and we need some help. So this is, you know, I mean, we need lots of help, but in terms of financial, we need a little bit of help too.
Oh my
So we can pay a few salaries around here. That's what we're trying to do. So that's Faye's house, and I love Faye's house.
There we are.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, another of our, this was Kishore did this, but Benjo also did a portrait of Faye.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that portrait though. I think we need a little something extra on it.
Well, he wasn't quite done. He put the necklace on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but her facial expression is not right.
Whatever.
She needs a smirk. She's just kind of sitting there. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
She's got the red eyes and all that. Anyway, oh yeah, this was marvelous. Kevin put this up.
This is from
really good.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Yeah. Anyway, absolutely stunning. And if I ran across them in like a forest, I mean, you can
you're dead. No, this is death, right? This is look at what's that down at their feet? Look like dragon heads or something, right? There's a
imagine
snake
you like just come across this like entry in some location, and all of a sudden everything's kind of blue hued, and then you have these two, like this couple that is just like, how am I getting out of the situation?
Yeah, really. Actually, what they're doing is arguing over where to go to dinner. But
yeah, exactly.
Well, now they're going to argue over what's for dinner, which is probably you, cameraman.
No, I loved it. And then also Kevin put up this other one, and I don't have a credit for it, and I feel bad, but like this inspired my imagination.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? That's really,
oh my gosh. Pretty. So it's absolutely gorgeous, and
some nice Photoshop work they did with this. You know, they really took the clouds, everything just really gave this beautiful feeling. And again, everything in the den, you know, part of the idea of the den, and hopefully as we revamp our Discord as well, is really about imagination and creativity and making joy out of seeing things and reading things and all of that kind of stuff. And that's really the goal. That's what we love when people post those things, and we love it when you post. And I look at everyone. Cameraman, he knows this. She says sometimes I look too much, but the thing is, when I look at these things, right, it just spawns all these ideas and thoughts within my mind. And I'm a creative person by life and trade, and you know, we're advertising people by day. That's our day job, and I just love things that enhance creativity. And we have so many amazing and wonderful creative people in the den, and I'm so thankful. I've read so many wonderful things that folks have written and looked at so many wonderful images. It's spectacular. And thank you, all of you, for doing this.
Well, I also want to point out, so this is Abir.
Abir did this.
Who's been, and he's been posting in the den. This is one of our actual artists.
She has been
posting. Oh, she. I didn't know that it was a she. Okay. She was a she. I'm sorry, not it. But yes, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, listen, if you see our artists in the den, please give them some love, because they work really hard on making Alphinius's vision come to life. Like, he sends them, like, I don't even know how you do it. You send them these emails and basically describe these like really weird, make a blue person with a,
the thing is, and then we go back and forth. We see a sketch, and chat a little bit, and I get to see things. And art direction is not just a science, right? This is an art, right? And you know this, cameraman, because this is what you work in, right? And when you're trying to direct artists, one of the things that I really try to avoid is over managing them and trying to tell them too many little things, because I honestly believe that actually takes the spirit out of the artist, because this is their art that they are trying to create. And so I try to give less, but less be more, if that makes sense. And that has served me incredibly well in working with Gooey Cube. And also, of course, one of our missions, as you know, cameraman, is to get our artists, many of them are not really known yet, right? And I'm proud to say that quite a number of our artists through the years have gotten jobs with studios, have expanded their portfolios and gotten other jobs with other businesses and other companies. And that's one of our missions, is to help artists to grow. And we, by the way, we never do that, hey, listen, we'll expose you, do this for free. That's not what we do. We pay everyone. And that is a tenet to our organization, and something that, if you have respect for creative people, you want to give them, reasonable compensation for their time, and as best as you are able. And that is what we try to do. And so we love our artists, and we appreciate them, and we also want to try to help them feed their families. So that's what we do. So
Exactly.
Abir, magnificent. Thank you.
And this one's from Benjo.
Yeah, Benjo did Crystal. This is Jade. So, and I love Jade. And
Marvelous backstory.
Yeah, it's wonderful. She did a great job with the backstory. And of course, Jade and William are an item. And Jade and William, Crystal and William are an item. And Jade and Elijah, I think, have a relationship. I'm not sure how that works, but I think that is kind of
it's written into their backstories.
Yeah, it's written in the backstory, right? So I don't remember exactly how it happened, but they have a relationship. And Elijah is a guide which takes folks into the forest, the creepy forest that is across the river from the city of Darkenhaven. So another place that I really want to explore that we have never explored yet. But anyway, Jade is magnificent, Crystal. We love her. Mandy saw it and she was like, "Oh my goodness, that's so good," And a lot of people commented in the den. And I appreciate all of you who do this because many of you may not know that I think I've mentioned this, there's over 200 people who have had their portraits done in the world of Zyathé as their characters, who are now non-player characters in the world. And you can do that too. You can buy one of those off of our site and give us a little support. If you do enough work for us on certain things, we can trade out that kind of thing. We've done a lot of images, and it is amazing. I mean, when you look at them, Mendy, in fact, one of these days we got to do a full collage of just our people.
We have very well organized folders of this. This would be very
well organized. Yes, Mendy is very proud of that. Right, let's continue.
Okay, so this is a new piece of art because we're getting Gloomport. We're about to start writing on it again.
Well, it's
in the process.
No, this has been many people have written on it, right?
Yes.
Now we are beginning the collation of it, but first Darkenhaven. So I'll do this real quick. Let me just do this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, first, Magica is ready to drop. Okay, it's been ready to drop for honestly for a couple of weeks. It just needed a couple of adjustments and a few things by me, and I have not been able to get to those things because of other circumstances. But I'm going to this weekend, and then we are going to put that thing out there.
I wish I had a popper right now.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
When you did that, I wish I had a confetti popper.
You could just tap on your keyboard. Yeah, yes, magnificent. Yeah, that was terrible, Cameron.
Sorry.
Never do that again.
Okay.
So anyway, so Magica, right? Now, what you don't know is Chapter 5. We've laid out the Adventurer's Guide. We've laid out all of the artworks. We've got the special item cards done. The last thing that we are finishing is the Game Master reference. And we've got to get printing on that. But first, we got to finish up the layout stuff. But that's also very close. John is very close on finishing his work on the Dead and Fallow. The Glooming Doom is next sort of on the list, along with Legends, Lore, and Libations, which was created by Keith. The Glooming Doom was Adam, helped along by a couple of other folks. Kevin was very involved there and really did some nice work for us there. And of course, all of these things are right on the cusp of being done. Then we will be pretty much done with everything, except for Darkenhaven and Gloomport. And Darkenhaven is well along the way with all the efforts by Jens and a number of other wonderful people. And the Gloomport has magnificent stuff, but it is the last thing that we will produce out of the Kickstarter, and then we will be done with it, which is wonderful. And I hope everyone, I've gotten so many emails from people and so many thank yous for how good the quality is, and we're going to keep doing that with everything we have. Anyway, this is the Scurvy Dog. So this was Jim's idea. Jim said, I think we should have a bunch of dilapidated ships somewhere that sort of is where all the down and outers kind of hang about, and, people of ill repute and other sorts of things like that, right? And so then it kind of blossomed, and all of a sudden we started talking about what could be to kind of a lowbrow inn and tavern there, right? And then the Beggar Queen came to be, and all of this kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, we have this wonderful inn and tavern called the Scurvy Dog. And Edvard is doing this, and it is so coming together so nicely, just wonderfully, And just as we did with Darkenhaven, those who are contributing are going to receive, you have to do a good job of contributing. You can't be, I just signed up and I wrote 4 sentences, because that's not fair to the people who actually worked, right, and really put in time. But we're going to do a poster series of the Gloomport that'll be signed, and only those people who really contributed to that Gloomport are going to get that. It's probably $250 value, something like that, and of all of these magnificent artworks to compensate them for their efforts and their times. And I'm so excited for him, camera Mandy. I want to put him. The problem is I got too much damn art now, right?
Well, we have a big office.
Wall space.
We have plenty of office.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So to celebrate Magica, our first giveaway is going to be for the binder cover.
All right.
And it's hashtag Magica. And
so this
spell
is
it
the
correctly.
first giveaway. So hashtag MAGICKA Magica. MAGICKA. Hashtag Magica to win. Oh, this was James. He's put this up.
Yeah, I love this. And I don't know if he made this or if he got it from somewhere, but you think not one.
It made me
you
chuckle.
Think you're in a room. You've been wrong before.
Yeah, the comments were funny, and James came back with some funny comments. It was really, really fun. Yeah. And it does look, camera Mandy, like we're going to Games Expo.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna go.
Okay.
You applied for the booth.
Yes, I need to do it. So hey, if you guys want to join us in the UK for Games Expo, it's gonna be a good time. And I think that this came about because James is from the UK and was trying to get us to go.
James
to
was the one who started
it.
That's why it came up. Right? So I think we're gonna go out there to get to Games Expo and hang about a little bit. Ms. Goo and I are going to hang out a little longer. I think we're going to go see some friends in Germany, and maybe a friend or two in France, and maybe a friend or two in the Netherlands. Ooh. And a couple of other places. So we are, and of course friends in the UK. We've got a number of those. We have actually considerably amazing support in Europe, and we appreciate all of our friends across the pond, as they say. But it's also Australia. We have friends in Japan. I mean, it's amazing how Gooey Cube has gotten out there without us really trying very hard, other than going to conventions, camera Mandy. So anyway, thank you all for your helps with this. And also, I want to tell you, thank you all for, if you haven't given us a follow on the Twitch, would you do that for us? And also, for those of you who do this every week when you're coming, who actually respond to the event and say coming or maybe, or even no, right? This helps, I think, with the algorithm for Facebook. So if you can please remember to do that, that is much appreciated for us. Anyway, James, thank you. This caused a lot of laughing in the Gooey Den.
And I will also throw out there that you'll notice that we've started posting a lot more on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our TikTok is getting revamped again. And so if you're on any of those platforms and happen to see a post pop up, even if you just press like on that helps us so much with trying to get on the better side of the algorithms.
Yes, and we're moving on with back to the Game Master Gooey University. We're going to, there's a lot of things
that are in the
pipeline. in the works right now, and we're really excited about it. Oh, Harry, you're magnificent, sir.
Yes. Okay, so this is the last thing for social media before we move on to book club, and I'll do the drawing right after we finish this. Okay, so Harry posted this snail, and then he posted this collection of snails that he has done, and then Michelle commented there should be a dungeon just of snails, and I am all on board with that. I think that is a great idea.
What about slugs? Do slugs count?
I think slugs could count in the snail.
The slug could be the BBEG.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And so I'm just saying I am all on board, and we're working. We want to have like a really great store for Harry's miniatures.
Yeah, we really, Harry, I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but it is definitely coming together. I've asked Stephen and Riley and Alexander and a couple of the other folks to kind of put a mock-up together, because I want you to see it. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And thank you for, you have no idea how many people have told me over this last couple of years how much they are blown away by this wonderful artwork that you bring to Gooey Cube, and making people who are characters in the world, who have made portraits, and just doing it just out of the goodness of your heart and the love that you have for all the craziness that we're doing. And thank you, Harry, truly, truly, my friend.
So I'm hoping, though, that like one of the bundles we sell on the website is a
absolutely
snail bundle.
Oh, a snail bundle. I thought you were going to say a Harry bundle. Yeah,
no. We're going to have lots of bundles for Harry stuff.
A snail bundle might be cool. The one has a little bit of xenomorph. Yeah. Xenomorph, that is the alien, right?
Yes.
The thing that, come here. He was like, the thing was coming out going, and they all stood around and just looked at it.
Harry just mentioned that 45 Gooey folks, like their NPC portraits, have been sculpted.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So
that is amazing.
Yeah, that's
Harry,
pretty incredible.
Thank you.
And we have all the pre-generated characters. There's so much coming for the mini section of the website.
Listen, you're not slowing down. We're getting ready for this subscription model. I think people are going to love it, and I think the card aspect of it is going to be a lot of fun. Whether you'll get these, maybe you try to collect the set of pipes, right? The set of jewelry, the set of shoes. A lot of fun things for player characters to actually have a fun time collecting cards that they can use in their role playing, and also for game masters, lots of cool and interesting items. We've got lots of, I think, fun takes on existing things as well as very new, interesting stuff. We got fusils and flow staves and all of these kinds of things that are unique to Zyathé, and we're excited. We're excited to give you cards that literally have a flow stone on them that have a certain power. So you can literally hand that card to someone, and then they can put that into some item and enhance it and augment it. So we'll see what that goes. Wait till you get Magic, it's going to be like, you're going to be like, whoa, it's just wonderful.
Okay, I have drawn a winner, and I'm very excited because the winner is someone who I do not believe has ever won from us before.
Yes,
but with that said,
should I do a drum roll?
Before I tell, stop. Before I tell, this is very important because there's not a lot of new people. You need to go to gooeycube.com/prizes and go enter in your information so that way we can actually ship you the prize and not have to track down your address. It's much more seamless for us if we're able to just pull up your address real quick.
Yes.
And if you have moved in the last...
Augment.
Yes, go fill out another form. But if you've done it and you haven't moved, you never need to fill out the form again. So that's my PSA.
Listen, this is very important. gooeycube.com/prizes. Right?
I'll put it in the chat.
This is very, very important. And the reason why it's important is not because we're really good about not spamming people. I know most people who get our emails a number of people have said, thank you for not being spammers. We don't do that. We'll throw out sale emails now and then. We throw out a newsletter once a week, which has a lot of information, but very little advertising.
This form is not even connected to newsletters.
And I was just about to say, that's what I was just about to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And this, no, you're good. This, we don't even take the people out of this list and send them anything other than it's for prizes. Mm-hmm. And it's just for organizing because we do a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun little giveaways to make it fun for people. And so this was Cameron Mendy's idea, and it has been very helpful for Mel and for her and for others in our company trying to get prizes to people, because you can't imagine how difficult it was sometimes. People would win, they'd go out of Twitch, and we couldn't find them because the Twitch handle is different than their Facebook name, than their Discord handle, all of this craziness. Now we are able to take care of that problem. So please, gooeycube.com/prizes.
Okay, now drum roll. And the winner is Koniko DD. Koniko, and I don't know if I said that correctly, and I'm very sorry if I didn't.
It's Cameron Mendy.
K-O-N-E. Koniko? Koniko?
Koniko.
K-O. D-D.
Koniko.
Yes,
DD.
Anyways. Congratulations.
Yes,
so,
you have won the binder cover, is that correct?
Yes, the signed binder cover. And I will open the next giveaway in just a minute, but we got to get started on our book club. So why don't you go ahead and start talking about that?
I shall. So those of you who've been around for a little bit know that we have begun the book club. Now, this is also beginning our reading stuff. So Cameron Mendy and I apologize, I have to wear these glasses. Cameron Mendy's going to give me some cool glasses that go better with wizardly look. But right now, I got to wear something or I can't see, right? So, but this is our first book. This is the World book. It is called The Wy'rd World. It is Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1. And at the beginning of the Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1, there is a section called The Chronicles of the Ventenium Alunax. And the Chronicles of the Ventenium Alunax hold all of the history of what happened in the world from the creation of all things by Alvova, all the way through the Gods' War, all the way through up until the present day. And we are reading through this as part of the book club because a lot of people said they'd like to kind of go through it with us. And so that's what we're doing. So we are just talking about the most recent terrible cataclysm that affected the world of Zyathé, which is called the Woe of Ruin. And it's very important for everyone who is new to understand that Zyathé is a post-apocalyptic magic world. There is not really technology in any way we would think of technology in this world. It is constructed of a very different structure, all kinds of things, how matter works, how energy works, all of that is different. And we did honestly try to sort of found the world with all of that kind of stuff. Because in world creation, if you're trying to really make a world, you need all of the history, at least in some measure, for people to be able to call back upon and explain why the world is like it is today. So right now we have talked about a circumstance that happened. So just really quickly to go back, in the beginning of the creation of all things, 4 sparks of foulness appeared at the edge of the void space during the creation by Avova, and they were not of his making nor of his intent. And they slipped off into the furthest reaches of the void and began to grow and coalesce as the creation continued its making. And then as time progressed, these 4 sparks became the 4 lords of corruption, which for those who want a deeper understanding, they are basically the antithesis of creation. They are uncreation. And that is the 4 lords of corruption. And these, after Avova had finished the creation of all things, created the gods, created the life world of Zyathé, created the Eterniverse and all of the things in the void space, he slept. Now the Zyathé is the energy that makes all things possible. The Zyathé is indeed magic. Yes. And the Zyathé, I bit my tongue, cameraman.
That's fine.
That's terrible.
We'll take this moment in the middle to say it's #book club to enter.
Oh, #book club. Now,
yes.
We won't announce that for a little bit, so you got to go through all this, listen to this stuff. Hopefully we'll make it interesting for you. I hope you're liking this right now.
Yes.
So understand that Avova created all of this using the Zyathé, which was the energy, and the 4 elements. And all of creation was made. And then Avova was tired, and so Avova slept. Now in his slumber, the 4 lords of corruption created another flow of the Zyathé, a corrupted flow called the nether flow. And this they actually used to siphon power from Avova while he slept. And thus began their strategy to corrupt all things. And what happened is, as that continued, they began to get more and more powerful, even more powerful than the gods. And then, to enact their plan, they began to whisper to the gods themselves that they could be greater than Avova, that they should be greater than Avova. All of this came through, and at the same time, the gods of evil were feeling a little put out by how the gods of neutrality and the gods of goodness were sort of doing things that were making the evil gods get kind of pushed away. Now, because worship matters in the world of Zyathé to give godly powers, as the evil gods were diminished, the good and neutral gods got more power. And this vexed the evil gods. And so when the whisperer whispered in their ears, they listened. And this was the beginning of the gods' war, even though none knew, until finally it came to the cataclysm, right? And then there was this massive battle, right? And gods died, and the world was nearly destroyed, and all of the gods cried out. And Avova awoke. And the battle between the 4 lords of corruption and Avova was epic. It was transcendent. There has never been anything like it since, and will never be again. But Avova realized he could not prevail over the 4 lords. And so, in a desperate act, Avova took himself, his spirit, the being that he was, who had always been, and merged his being into the Zyathé to give him more power than he had ever had, and to enhance the Zyathé to levels it had never been before. And he used that power to imprison the 4 lords of corruption within the Never Place. And then he ceased to be. And that is the world that we live in now. And as time progressed, something else terrible happened. Because the whisperers returned and spoke to a worldly wizard of the Aetheric civilization named Galcianthros. and Galcianthros, who wished to live forever but not live in undeath, listened to the whispers. And thus were the seeds sown for the woe of ruin. And that is where we are right now. Is that correct, Cameramendi?
I don't know, because I was looking into something with Moobot. Everyone, just make sure that you're putting in hashtag capital B book club, capital C. So, and I'll look into
how it doesn't have to be case sensitive.
Yes, so I will look into that.
Hashtag capital B-O-O-K, capital B-O-O-K, capital C-L-U-B.
Yes.
Hashtag book club.
Anyway, where we are at in the woe, I don't know if, I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to listen last section, is that they had just destroyed the wizard, the evil wizard had just tried to take all the magic for himself.
That is correct.
Yes, and then we are in the aftermath where a lot of people were displaced, and there was a lot of...
and this was the cataclysm that nearly destroyed the Zyathés, that destroyed the Athenic civilization, that brought massive corruption to the world of Zyathé. Yes, and the plains, the godly realms. And this chapter on page 16 is called The Darkest Days. The horrific cataclysm that would come to be known as the Woe of Ruin destroyed the entire Athenic civilization, burying all they had created in great masses of rubble and ruin and death. With nowhere else to go, the remnants of the races fled to the outskirts of the now devastated lands to avoid the dark and tainted places where their great cities once stood. The gnomes, the Orokanoids, the humans, all of them fled to the outskirts, the fringes, to avoid the corruption. And the corruption seeded within the world. And indeed, it still seeds to this day. It permeates every rock, every blade of grass, every drop of water, and is indeed slowly destroying all of the creation. Now, what happened in the aftermath on page 17 is the chapter called The Corollary of Ruin. By the way, is there any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I do actually have some questions from
let's
Belinda.
Yes.
Actually on page 17. After the woe, it says that the Sarth had to fight with clans of surface-dwelling demi-humans. Who were they?
We will have to wait a little bit on that tale, Belinda, when we do Zoostrenia. But there is very interesting lore in Zoostrenia that is taken from South and Central American and even somewhat some North American lore before the folks who came from Europe and kind of changed things here, right? So this lore is magnificent, and it is going to be based and steeped in that lore. And so there are certain things that we have identified that we want to, repurpose, right? Like we've mashed up everything already. And but there were human clans, but there were other clans that were there as well. And so we are excited to bring that to the table and in the future when we do Zoostrenia. But for right now, it is a tale still in the telling, my dear. Indeed it is. Another question, Cameramendi.
Yes. Okay. Have you talked about Galcianthros?
I have talked some, but I can speak to Galcianthros if someone has a question.
Well, here the question is, it describes the visitors to Galcianthros as onyx-skinned. Was this some of the Thule?
That is an excellent question and an excellent hypothesis, though it is unconfirmed who they actually were.
And this is actually like a good question that follows up. Who were the other 5 wizards that he used? Because Galcianthros was the person who tried to destroy or tried to take the power for himself. So who were these other 5 people that he managed to convince to go along with him?
There were other very powerful wizards, all of them human, but we have not written of them yet. Now, there were others that we have written of who abandoned Galcianthros in the tale. One of them is Cal Novik, who is now the Lich Lord of the Vile Desolation. There are also rumors that Zoldathrin Veldrin, yes, the supreme consort in Valandia, was also associated with Galcianthros. And there is another potentially in Sundestia, who is also affiliated with this one. But that is also a tale in the telling. If the rumors are true, the 5 mages who joined him were also destroyed along with Galsianthras in this terrible spell that was supposed to take all of their lives except for Galsianthras, though the 5 wizards did not know. But we will bring that tale forth because it is marvelous in the future.
Okay, so we're gonna expand even further.
Well, you'll get some stuff in Magicka as well that is a little bit of expansive lore when you go through there, you know. And this is the wonderment of the tale, right? Is over time we tell more of the tale, right? And I think it makes it fun for people to know and wonder. But yes, it is likely, going back to the first question, that the visitors who came to Galsianthras could have been the Thu'ul, who are the agents of the 4 lords on the planet of Zyathé.
All right, and I have one more question, but we will hold that until after we talk about some of the consequences.
Yes.
Because it's very interesting how this event reshaped the entire world of Zyathé, and then on top of that, reshaped and displaced so many different races, so many different people, lost at sea because of the massive waves that were created. So all these.
The population was devastated.
Yes.
Yes, just dramatically reduced. And of course, this happened in the plains as well, right? All the godly realms were affected by this dramatically. In fact, the truth be told, were it not for Evoke, Infiorni, and Sha'adar, who are the 3 lords of magic, the gods of magic, who had, in particular, between Infiorni and Evoke versus Sha'adar, there was enmity, because this was right, this was, the gods' war was part of this problem, right? There was great enmity between them, but they went in together into the halls of the making, and they literally separated the Zyathés, which had been one flow up before that, which was infected with the nether flow. They literally separated it into 3 distinct different flows, right? And tried to repair a crystalline barrier that Avova had put around the nether flow to protect the rest of the Zyathés from that flow.
Well, I think these gods know the sacrifice that Avova had made, and to see it all destroyed, after he had sacrificed himself, I mean, that would be devastating.
And they're also looking at the possibility of themselves being corrupted and destroyed, right? This is because there's only one of the lords of corruption that wants to unmake everything fully, right? All the other 3 want to sort of turn it into other stuffs, right? So even the 4 lords, there might be a little bit of enmity between them in certain circumstances, right? So in some ways, maybe they are a marriage of convenience, right? But that is marvelous because we love the tension, right? Anyway, your question is exactly right. So these 3 gods go into the halls of making. They change the font, right? And since the 10th, 11th, and 12th cycles of magic had already been relatively ruined at this point, they were not usable, right? And the 13th cycle of magic is basically one spell, which is the way of all things. It is believed that Galsianthras did indeed cast a 12th casting, all right, which is called the Unmaking. And that is what happened in that woe of ruin and what nearly destroyed all things. It cracked the crystalline barrier that Avova had put in place because he needed the nether flow to cast that spell. It caused the 4 lords of corruption's never place, the walls, to also form cracks, which is why Anacrea smiled when she looked at the walls and said it was only a matter of time now. Yes. And so they went in, they did this deed, they were able to restore. Question?
David, he wants to know, did they change the font to Comic Sans or Papyrus?
Excellent question.
Neither, because they're both wrong.
Blackbeard. Yes.
And we have another really good question too before we go from Thomas. Did they change? Oh, sorry, I was reading his again. Okay, when did you start writing Zyathé? Like, when did the lore start coming together?
So the original stuff came around. I'd been playing, as many of you know, we played the Forgotten Realms for many years. Ed Greenwood is I've said it many times, is my hero, and really a pioneer in world building. And if you were around in those days and you read the Dragon magazine and you read about some of the pre-postings that Ed had in Dragon, and then of course they published Waterdeep in the North, which was the first real supplement that was that was the Forgotten Realms and all of this stuff. But for me, I never liked things like firearms and technology as it is in our world, in my world. I didn't really love that stuff.
I mean, I agree with you because to me, I played the game, whatever I'm just gonna say, I played D&D because I like to kind of escape that stuff. Like it's like coming up with creative solutions. Yeah, creative solutions in a different world. So
a long time ago, I began to think about what it would have mean if magic had been somehow destroyed or messed with. And there was others. This is not like some unique idea with Kim, Alphinius. Right. And
there's no such thing as a unique idea in the fantasy world these days. It's just your spin on what it is. Yes. It's your thought. Yeah.
So anyway, it began a long time ago. But then when we actually determined that we were going to publish, we originally were going to put our materials in the Forgotten Realms because we wanted to work with folks at TTRPG and do all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that based on their terms and conditions, there are things that you basically give up ownership to that, frankly, I did not want us to give up ownership for those materials. And all of you should make sure when you read those terms and conditions of any of these places to make sure that you aren't really giving up something that might be very special to you that you will never have.
Including ours.
Including ours, yeah, absolutely. But we're pretty, that we're very forthright about that, right? Like I tell people all the time, if you're going to contribute something to our world, right? If you're going to do it, we're going to have that. So don't give us anything that you think is special. There are thousands and thousands of ideas that percolate through your head. Which are the special ones? Put that in your special box. Keep them there for you. The ones you want to have fun with that you are not so concerned about, if you want to give a couple of those to us and have them get put in our materials and get something special in return, we would love that.
We are going totally off track though.
I know. All right. Okay. So we were talking about the gods. They went in. Now this is very important because there are many who talk about the separation of the three flows, right? The flow into three, right? Many people who talk about this. And the reason why it is kind of important is because there are those who wish, Zoldathr and Vildreen being one of them, who wish to reunite the three flows and try to bring back the 10th, 11th, and 12th castes. That is very important because that is the only way that those will ever be able to be brought back. But in bringing back the 10th, 11th, and 12th castes, it enables, if that were to be achieved, it enables one to then cast the 12th level spell, the Unmaking. And so the question remains, is it really true that the 10th, 11th, and 12th cycles are ruined and never to be used again, never can be used again? Or is it the intention of the three gods of magic that they never be used again, even though they might be?
That is actually kind of an intriguing thing to play with. And I think it just depends on what table you're at. And so here's the thing is I'm reading it's a TTRPG story. It's called The Wandering Inn. And they have kind of a similar situation with the highest level of magic being out of reach. I don't get to have any say in what happens in that book series. I just get to enjoy it. But with this, yes, the lore is going to be written, but then you have the permission as the GM to take the lore and do with it what you will. So if you want to unlock those crazy levels of magic at your table, maybe you do.
Perhaps someday.
Maybe,
perhaps we will even run an adventure to do that. But anyway, the question was, when did this all begin? So it began probably 20 years ago as I began to ponder a post-apocalyptic magic world. Then as we began to write in earnest in 2017 and 2018, as we began to do that, that was the first thing that I wrote. I wrote that this chronicles of the Ventenium Alunax, because again, having read about world building and the importance of history and why Tolkien did what Tolkien did with all of the Silmarillion stuff and all of that, and I mean even to the point of creating languages, right, and all of this stuff, really helped make the world feel more real. And that is the goal here. The goal here is when those players sit down at your table, we want to give them a world that feels real because we want to help them suspend that disbelief. We want them to be there, to be in this place, right? This is what I love at my table when I have this happening with my players. It doesn't happen all the time, right? Because you're joking sometimes and having fun sometimes. But certainly on some of these times, you are in the midst of this, and they are there, right? And that is a magnificent, magnificent game.
And that's something that, like, imagine even if you're starting the Red Star Rising campaign and one of your Hanatas, that's something they want to get their teeth into. Like, they're starting out as a level 1, and they're like, I want to help reclaim, maybe in the future, these magics that have been lost. They heard a tale, they heard a lore, these whispers.
But can I interrupt you for a real second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hear this. Check this out, cameraman.
Yes.
So the Hanatas, you all know I love them, and they're born of my heart, and dedicated in particular to one of my children, and all kinds of stuff about the Hanatas that are magnificent to me. But one of the things that's really magnificent about the Hanatas is this concept of the blood touch and how it permeates everything. And there's more tales to be told on this, my friends, many more. Because as I've said a few times before, many blame the blood touch on the woe of ruin. They believe it is a spawn of corruption, if you will. But for those with an eye, for those who have spent time in the tale, they will realize that Zyathé lived before the woe of ruin. And indeed, a few blood-touched people also lived before the woe. And this is the kind of wonderful thing that if you let it out slowly to your players who have blood touches, if you let these kinds of things slip slowly, it just makes their eyes get wide as they ponder, what does this mean? And that is the mystery of wonderment. It is the best. Ha-ha! Yes, cameraman.
Indeed. Well, okay, this is a great conversation. We do have to actually finish up the Ventenium.
I'm going to finish it right now.
Okay. Oh, with that said, though, it is almost 11, and I have picked a winner. Via Mubot, just to be clear, not me personally. This is not my fault, but our winner, I'm actually very excited for, is Belinda.
Congratulations!
Who gives us amazing questions every week for a book club. Also, if you ever have any questions when you read the books and you want them asked on the show, send them to me ahead of time or put them in the comments, and I will absolutely read them on the show to make sure they get answered.
Yes. And I hope you are liking this. I hope this is helping to bring this history to life for you and bring fun to your mind and to your thoughts.
Absolutely.
So we are now in the fourth age. This is on page 18. And I'll read this because we are just about done. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll read a little bit of it. And so, more than 1,200 years, which we also call annums in the world of Zyathé, and so more than 1,200 years following the sundering of the woe of ruin, Zyathé has reached a tense stability. Blood touches continue to occur with greater frequency in every generation as the twisted magic seeping from crooks and etheric ruins on other continents continue to permeate all things. This gradual perversion of the mortal races is what ultimately served as the catalyst for the formation of the Hanatas, as recounted in the legend of Zyathé and other Hanatas writings. These warped forces are also at fault for the rise of ever more obscure and terrifying monsters that stalk the wilds and the depths of the world. And here are the last two paragraphs. Only time will reveal what lies in store for the peoples of the Wy'rd world. If the sayings of the prophets are to be believed, the years to come will bring great fears and dangers to Zyathé. What these are, however, are spoken of in veiled and mysterious words, as the discourses of prophecy often are. One thing is unequivocally clear. The peoples of the world of Zyathé face a dark and uncertain future. Many terrible circumstances and frightening events are taking place, even as these words are being written. Nefarious powers and fearful principalities seek their own ends without regard to the harm they do. Secret societies and dark practitioners strive to unlock the ancient and vile corruption magics with little concern for the consequences of their actions. Strange portents point to a dramatic reversing of the status quo, while the venality, apathy, greed, and avarice sap the life from the nation-states and sovereignties of the world. And meanwhile, in the darkest depths, the vile Thu'ul slowly spread their horrific depravity and grotesque perversions to more and more of those residing in the Zayandun. it is certainly a most dangerous and marvelous time. And that is the end of the Chronicles of the Ventenium Alunax, my friends. And next we will talk a little bit about the magic of Zyathé.
We did have one more question from Belinda.
Oh, please. Anybody who has questions, throw them out, and we will be done after that.
So yeah, I think like the important takeaway from this section of the book is that the ripples from what occurred with the woe is still out there in the world. Certain alliances have been formed between different groups of people based on terrible happenings that happened. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. But this is an observation that Belinda had. It seems like the Thu'ul and the High Elves might be an interesting team up. Seems like the High Elves might be one of the more corruptible of the races. That seems to be hinted at by the cover of East for Destia.
Well, there is certainly Zoldathrin Vildreen, who is of High Elven blood. And Zoldathrin, it is fairly clear to those who observe, there is some connection between him, the other two consorts, and the Thu'ul. And of course, there's another thing that's going on for those who've read a little bit in East for Destia, which is that somehow Zoldathrin and the other two consorts are doing something with blood-touched people to prolong their lives. But that is a tale you must read for yourself.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to mention that the High Elves, they lost very much because they had created these huge cities with the high magics. And it does seem like they'd go to any lengths to try and reclaim some of that past glory.
I think, again, they feel they are marginalized people, right? That is what they feel, right? They are truly, because many who are not of human descent blame the humans for the woe of ruin because of Galcianthros being human, right? There are enmities between certain groups. There's history of enmity between the Dwarvish folk and the High Elven folk in particular, and so there's a lot of tension, right? But this is what you want when you're making a world, right? This is this is why we have the 72 gods, and not all of them get along, right? This is why we have the missing Avova and the Four Lords of Corruption, and even within the Four Lords of Corruption, there could be enmity. Right? This is the idea, right? And then there is this mysterious thing, the 9, that are in prophecies that are said to be returning, which is spoken of a little bit in the Red Star Rising campaign. And so this begins to bring this wonderful tension, all of these different aspects, and that is what brings the adventure, because there's lots of bad guys for our wonderful heroes to come against and deal them a blow. Yes, ha ha! 2 heroes.
Or to playing a villain campaign.
Oh, you villains! I've said this many times. We experimented with this evil thing. It always ended up with the damn characters killing each other, or people who played evil characters not really being evil, right? So we kind of, and again, for me, alignments are sort of guidelines, right? There, I do an alignment spectrum if I was going to create a game, right? There'd be a spectrum that you would kind of live within that sort of guides your principles of your character, because that was the idea behind it in the first place, was how does my character act, and to kind of give the game master, this is how they're going to act generally, so they couldn't just be all crazy all over the time, right? Do all kind of stupid things that didn't make sense in the scope of their character.
Okay, well, this was a great conversation. This was a fun end to our trip into the Ventenium Alunax, and
we're going to do magic next, right? Is that the plan, or do you want to do something else?
No, the next one, we have to go into the next chapter.
Yes, that's my plan. We'll talk. So read chapter 2, which is in here, right? Which is in this Cyclopedia Zyatheka.
Yep.
And this will be wonderful because we're doing Magica at the same time. And so when you look at the Zyanthus, which is this chapter right here, when you look at the Zyanthus, then you'll be able to get a little bit of background and grounding in this stuff. And then when you get Magica, you'll be like, oh my goodness, it's really, all of our books, because we're getting better ourselves, right? We get better ourselves. All of our books, I think, keep getting better as we progress. Although I think they are all wonderful. Magica is magnificent. And I think many are going to love it. So that's all I got, Camera Mandy. Awesome. Oh, wait, one last thing. Yes. We are going to do the Zion Dune, we are going to do something in the Zion Dune for the Contributors Guild. That is very, very soon to start. We're going to open it up. We're going to send out an email, let everybody know who's in the contributors. If you're not a member of the Contributors Guild, you can join very easily. It is pinned of how to do that in the Discord.
I think it's gooeycube.com/guild.
You can also go to gooeycube.com/guild and start that way. And again, this is, don't forget this. Only stuff that you are very comfortable parting with. Keep your cool and wonderful things, your special things in your special box. Keep those for yourself. This is for fun and joy and helping to make Zyathé special. All right, my friends, that's all I got for you today. This was marvelous, Camera Mandy. Thank you so much for always doing this and doing such a good job every flipping Saturday.
Yes, and now I have to go to the birthday party.
Yes, happy birthday to the little kid.
Holland.
Yes, Holland. Yeah, I don't know Holland, but I'm hoping it's a wonderful little birthday.
Yes.
All right, my friends. May you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. The rest of your weekend be wonderful. I've got some great things I'm going to put up in the den in the Discord this weekend. And may all your adventures, Camera Mandy,
be sticky.
Ha ha!